Shall we take the veil off? Who guides this woman into her new life?
Your mother and I.
Thank you. Welcome. Please be seated. Mark?
Yes. We are lagging a bit. I'm sorry.
No problem. We're ready for you anytime.
Great. Okay, we'll try. Claire and Joe, wow, what a journey. I'm going to try not to cry. I first met you, Claire, when you came for a trial voice lesson when you were thinking of coming to Roosevelt more years ago than I'm comfortable admitting. Joe, I remember the first time I heard you sing. It was the exam that you sang you became a voice major. I was amazed. You are both major talents, and you have so much to offer this world and each other. Together, we discovered language and how words are magic. I also remember the beginning of your relationship as the loud lizards of CCPA were all about Claire and Joe and Claire. Now, after rolling my eyes at those lovely lizards, I saw the gossip was true, and I watched your love grow through all sorts of joys and challenges. Your Chicago family, me, 2 Scottish Terriers and 1 Yorkshire Terrier, loved in an alternate way of solemnizing your joining. Want you to remember this exact moment with this poem by E. Cummings, also famously set to music by John Duke. So take a moment, deep breath, look at each other, hearts, and listen to these profound words. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. And where I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart.
Thank you, Mark. And thank all of you for your presence here this evening. The couple knows that many of you, most of you, had to travel and take time from your schedules to be here, and they appreciate it. Joe and Claire are delighted that all of you are here to bear witness to the declarations they make this evening, their marriage vows. Thank you as well for the part you have played in their lives up to this point. This congregation makes up their family and friends, the people who have had influential and enduring roles in their lives. Here tonight are the people who have shaped them, both before their relationship and during, into the adults standing before you. They have vented to you as friends and sought your guidance as elders. Joe and Claire take their places in front of you now as two self-determining adults, ready to formally enter a new chapter in their lives. In order for them to do so, it's crucial that their community is present. So thank you for your physical presence here and your spiritual presence in their lives. At this time, we would like to take a moment to remember those loved family and friends who are not with us here today, those who were unable to be here and those who have since passed. We know that they are here with us in spirit. We are all here tonight, specifically, for the wedding of Claire Barber and Joseph Brzezinski. Marriage is a public and permanent promise to join two lives together in solidarity and trust. For the young couple, there is value in the weight and accountability of making that promise in front of the people who have shaped them. Marriage is the deepening and validation of an existing romantic relationship. In this case, it is the natural continuation of their partnership. Today, Claire and Joe will take their place in their families and the community as two people associated with each other when they were once associated with their parents. It is a privilege to be married at a time like this, when these two are free to choose each other and come together with agency and informed intent. Coming together of their own desire, Joe and Claire will continue forward in marriage in their own fashion. They know they will keep their own identities and voices as they build a household where everyone is unconditionally liked. In that household, they will demonstrate their love in acts of care and kindness every day. We know that over the last half-decade, they've had lots of practice with in sickness and in health. They've shown that they have the motivation and experience to care for each other, to lean on each other, with affection and vulnerability. To demonstrate married life in their own way is exactly why Joe and Claire would like to take this step. They've reached a point in their lives where they are ready to start their own household. Especially in these times of relative isolation, the two of them have had plenty of time to learn about each other. Claire has spent these last years learning about every side of Joe, and she never found one that was hidden or that she didn't like. Joe has spent these last years seeing Claire's interests and viewpoints, and he's accepted and uplifted every one of them. Much as they are content at home with just the two of them and Mabel, they know that no couple exists as an island. So they want to not only take the vows of matrimony, but take them here with their community. Their love is well-formed and full-voiced, and it should be celebrated. And so their love will continue after this day, redefined and reaffirmed, a new chapter of the same book. Before we get to those vows, let us read from the good book. The following is a reading about love from 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor, and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Claire and Joe will now present personalized vows to each other. Claire, will you begin? Would you like these?
Yes, I would. Joe, I fell in love with you very quickly, and that's no secret. And it wasn't really a surprise either, because as hard as I've tried to teach myself patience, composure, and subtlety, My heart has always been very loud and very sure, and especially stubborn. You became my fortress, my safe place, my eternal partner in neuroses, my soulmate. We are entering the second half of a decade together, as today marks exactly 5.5 years since the start of our relationship. You've taught me that the quality of a relationship cannot be judged by its longevity alone. But in those 5 years, we've celebrated so many milestones that could have led to our paths diverging. We've grown out of dorms, first apartments, roommates. We've survived 2 degrees in music and come out only somewhat traumatized. We've celebrated weddings and we've mourned deaths together. You've allowed me a space to process trauma, and you've never hurried me or questioned my validity. We've been partners long before putting it on paper. We've promised to love each other, likely before understanding the depth of those promises, but I'm proud of the way we've grown into them. I told you that I wanted to avoid wedding vows that center too much around how one makes the other feel, but there is one profound discovery that I've made in the years we've been together. Your unconditional love is something I can comprehend. It has tremendous value, but I always understood the concept. Unconditional love is often wrapped up in blankets of duty and obligation. What I've learned from you is what it feels like to be unconditionally liked, to be genuinely enjoyed and valued as a person. In some ways, it's easy to choose to love someone, but we have also made each other something more than an obligation. We became favorites. My destiny is alongside yours. Okay, Lizzie, it might be time for those sleeve tissues. But I make my own footprints, and so do you. Loving you is the great privilege of forgetting where I end and you begin. It's waving at babies and dogs, not because I like them, but because that's what you would do. It's laughing at the jokes you think are funny. It's looking at the menu and getting excited when I see things you like, even when I never cared about those things, even when you're not at the table with me. It's learning to love myself because you love me. Leaving behind the idea of, I don't deserve you, or that you are my better half. We are evenly matched and equally deserving because we grow together. Never again in my life will I make a singular decision. My every choice and every consequence is tied to you. Some days this will feel like a sacrifice, but I promise to regard it as a sacred privilege. You know better than most people that my beliefs have dramatically evolved over the course of my life and even over the course of our relationship. But one thing I was raised to believe that I still hold sacred is that love is not a feeling. It doesn't exist purely as an emotion. Love is fundamentally an action verb, and it encompasses all the big and small choices we make on a daily basis and how we treat each other. When I promise to love you, it is a promise of loyalty, of commitment, of mutual trust and understanding. I'm not promising a feeling. I'm promising to put in the effort, to pay attention, and to never take you for granted. I promise to show you gratitude. I cannot promise perfect love. My love for you is impatient, and it does boast. But I can promise the love I know how to give, and to feed it to you in heaping spoonfuls every day. I want you to know that I don't merely value you for what you do for me. I value you for who you are, my shiftless dreamer. I value your gentleness, your endless curiosity and nerdiness, your love for the overlooked, your thoughtfulness, and your sensitivity. I also value your anxiety, your frustrations, and your chaos. You strive for honesty and integrity. You desire to create objectively good art. And even when this isn't possible, you can't stand the idea that someone might think you did anything carelessly. That quality, that passion and integrity is something I admire and cherish. Finally, I make a promise to enjoy time with you, to allow us time for adventure and to allow us time to rest, to regard leisure and fun as pivotal ingredients for the health of our relationship, to never pair the word guilty with the word pleasure. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for being you with me. And for the last time I can ever say this to you, I'm so glad I married you in the future.
Lovely. Joe?
A little short.
I'm wordy.
Claire, we talked a lot about wanting to make vows that are meaningful but that we won't regret. And I'm not sure that's possible. So many people say they didn't know what would really be the core of their relationship down the line. But I know that the perfectionist in both of us wants to get as close as we can. So I think I have 3 promises that will be true. 2 kind of easy, and 1 that I am so determined to hold to. I know things will change. I can't promise that we'll always laugh at the same jokes, that I'll always laugh at you being too full to finish a single cucumber. But I promise you, we will always have inside jokes. I promise you, we will have jokes that are only funny to the 2 of us, and we will reference them in public, and it will annoy the people around us. I can't promise to fulfill your dreams for you. I would love to. I would love to buy an opera house and cast you in every show. But I know that even if we had the money and the connections, you would want to earn it almost as much as you would want to actually do it. So I can and do promise to support your dreams, because from now and forever, our dreams are side by side. We achieve them together. And I won't say or not at all, because they're gonna happen or they're gonna happen. My last promise to you is one with no caveats. I promise, I vow to respect you. You are not just my partner, you are my equal. When we met and you told me your life story pretty quickly, I gained something that I considered to be invaluable. You took the ignorance out of my life and you replaced it with perspective. I promise to value that perspective for the rest of our lives. I vow to never stop asking you questions. It'll be about life, about your life, music, fashion, or something as mundane as, are there figs in the Bible? And I know that will annoy you and sometimes you won't know the answer, but I'm gonna ask because you're the person I go to when I have questions. I can't wait to live life alongside you and forge our perspective together. I love you.
Those sentiments were wonderful. Hold them and refer to them as you move into your new household of support and acceptance. Claire and Joe would like to make something together now, something by which to remember this day. They will now press a rose, a symbol of love, romance, and beauty, between 2 books to preserve it for display in their home.
We have 2 books here, one that was Claire's and one that was mine. They are books that guided us in the time in which we first met and were very important in our lives. They are based on the practices of one man, largely, who lived a long time ago. It is, of course, the Costco Payne 7th edition music theory textbook.
Do you guys have a flower to press? Well,
We will.
take your pick. I'm sure you'll treasure that for years to come. Now, will Fred and Alice and Ray and Michelle please stand? As your children find partners and homes for the next generation, each family is enriched and enlarged. Do you, who have nurtured these two, bestow your blessing on their union and their family?
We do.
Thank you. Finally, we've come to the formal statements of intent, the vows and exchange of rings you've all come to expect. The couple will state the traditional vows and exchange rings. These vows will seal their commitment, and the rings will serve as an everlasting sign of the promises made here. Rafa, the rings, please. Claire first. Do you, Claire, take this man to be your lawful husband, to live together in sacred matrimony, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part?
I do.
Joe, put the ring on Claire's finger. Do you, Joe, take this woman to be your lawful wife, to live together in sacred matrimony, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part?
I do.
All right, I'm gonna get out of the way for the next part. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. I invite you to seal your promise with a kiss. Let me present Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Brzezinski.